up here on the southwest side of my dad's property, and he's talking about this 15-acre section that was clear-cut harvested. And this was his actual first time not harvesting himself. He's harvested everything on his own property himself, but he hired out this one. So it was an adventure for all. Of course, per contract, the loggers hire out or to have somebody come in and they do the replanting. And we harvested in 2013, right, Dad?
Yeah.
And then they planted their first plant in 2014, and then you kind of wait it out and see how they're all doing. Dad could see by 2015 that their survival rate wasn't that great. Normally you kind of want an 80-90% survival rate, and we kind of got more like a 10% survival rate.
Part of the problem was when they replanted it, they J-rooted part of the trees. One guy that was planting was experienced enough to know what he was doing.
And what does J-rooting do to a tree?
Well, they get the roots pointed up and not get them down in the ground. And then that sets the survival rate off.
Yeah. So it was really a harsh first go-around. And that's not necessarily just because of the J-rooting. We have drought happening that year. Drought's terrible, and this is not close to any water. There's tall timber up against there. That's the city's timber. And the elk like to come out of there, and the deer, and they come and snack, and then they go right back in. So they're coming out for a good browsing on the trees. So a lot of our trees suffered browsing. A lot of our trees suffered drought, and then there was the J-rooting on the initial go-around. But so he could tell, and Dad could tell in 2015 that he would need to do fill planting. And so in 2016 he did you pre-order? Or were you able to just get some?
I just got some.
Yeah, in 2016 we had the luxury of just going down to get some seedlings. That's maybe not the case these days. And picked up 1,600 trees, and then he mostly fill planted himself, and his kids helped a little bit. And we still had a rough patch up the top by that tall timber. The elk are just coming out and eating them all. And then of course there's heavy drought. But the rest of it, a lot more took. So as you can see here, you can't see all the trees. There's a lot of trees in here, but you can't see them all because of the brush. So the county came through and did an aerial shot somehow. They got an aerial because they were seeing if people are keeping their timber deferment up. And we worked with the county. Jordan down at the tax assessment office is wonderful. She is just really willing to help you and help you understand what they needed to make sure we're compliant. So it was super helpful that I visited with her, and Dad got to meet her later in the days. When we were working with the county, we had a stalking survey already scheduled because we needed to know what we had in here. And so we worked with our consulting forester, Dan Upton, and he came up and did a stalking survey for us of the entire 15 acres, and he found that we surpassed the needs of per acre trees per acre, and we had 437 trees per acre, where we only needed 200 trees per acre to meet the goal to satisfy the timber deferment. So even with all the drought, the browsing, the first huge loss in our first planting, that's pretty good, I feel, so. What do you think, Dad?
Yeah.
So, and then in 2020, Dad was off with having sibling time, brother time, none to say, and he let us kids. This is the first time all four of us kids got to do something without Dad on the property supervising or helping us. And so he trusted us to come up here, and we planted coastal redwoods. And he's never planted coastal redwoods. That would be we're trying it to see if maybe they would be browsed less, maybe they'd survive the drought a little better. We're just seeing. So we planted 400 amongst here, mostly up that area, to see if they'll take. And so we're just waiting it out and seeing if they're going to make it. A lot of successful tree growth is by ground preparation. And so Dad doesn't necessarily believe in herbicides spraying, so we have done natural and manual control of trying to manage the weeds. So Dad, can you talk about why you don't want to use herbicides?
Oh, I just don't trust them as far as they should.
So you're just not
think-
comfortable?
No. Our neighbors don't use herbicides.
Yeah, nobody up here on the mountain, I don't believe anybody has used herbicides on this mountain. But Dad does manually remove, we both work at it, but he did the most, and he went in here in I don't know what year, 2018 or 2019 January, and he weed eated all 15 of these acres for all the Scotch broom and the woody underbrush, and then now we just have pretty thin underbrush growing.
It's starting to show up.
Yeah.
You're starting to see the tops of the trees.
The tippy tops are coming.
Yeah, I still don't think they dissolve as quickly as they claim they are.
Yeah. So we've just decided that we're not quite comfortable with having herbicides up here. Our neighbors and our other family that own part of this mountain, they haven't ever done the herbicides either, and it's just something that we've chosen to do. Just one route to do. We'd rather do the manual and just see how they go that way. We've not had a problem with manual usually. This is a unique situation for Dad's tree growth. So what do you think, Dad? What is the future outlook for this 15 acres?
To see what pops up.
Yeah, so over time we're just going to see how they do and continually manage manually and just encourage the growth.